Hey guys, how are you doing? It is your host, Brad Bodnarchuk, and last week you heard from me in our garage. This week I'm kind of keeping the theme up. I'm coming to you from our vehicle. I encourage you guys, if you haven't ever, head over to YouTube. You can check these videos out on YouTube as well, just under my name, Brad Bodnarchuk. Gives you just a different dynamic and as a way to engage with this podcast, just kind of see where we make this thing happen. But again, audio is king. This is the reason I did this podcast, was always being a podcast first and foremost for the audio version. So I appreciate you guys tuning in via audio. Welcome to what is a 5-part series that I am calling Hospitality Mindset versus the Mindset in Hospitality. This is something that came to me, honestly, on a run the other day, and I'm so thankful for the ability to get outside and run, because for me, it allows for me to get creative, think, obviously relieve some stress as well, which is super imperative for me. And it also allows for me to take some time to myself, which is extremely important, and I encourage you all to do. But on this run, as the run was coming to an end, I had this kind of inspiration, if you will. And if you haven't heard me talk about inspiration before or intuition, get ready, because you're going to hear a lot of it over these next 5 podcasts that I'm about to release. But I was motivated to sit down with a pen and paper and start jotting out what I think is the crucial difference, and crucial in regards to how it's both allowing us to succeed in this industry, but also holding us back. So there is a very, very defined difference, in my opinion, and I'll lay it out over these next 5 podcasts, between a hospitality mindset and a mindset in hospitality. And I'll elaborate on what that means. For me, we live in a world where taking care of others trumps taking care of ourselves. And that isn't unique to us in hospitality or food and beverage, but it is in a way, because not only are we doing it in our personal lives, and that's what I'm talking about, we live in a world, meaning all over the place, where it's almost frowned upon to put yourself first. And the hospitality mindset, and some of us do this more so than others, is always putting others before ourselves. And while can be seen as an admirable thing to do, or can be seen as a very kind thing to do, there isn't much long game to it. And I'll touch on that a little bit more before this one wraps up. But what I also wanted to say is, we need to think of the hospitality mindset, or then the mindset in hospitality, almost like getting on a plane, and when they give us that breakdown of, if the oxygen mask falls, put yours on first. This is where it's different for us in hospitality, and I don't know why that is, or I guess I do fundamentally, but I'm challenging it now as we move forward. And the reason I'm doing this 5-part series, and the reason you're hearing from me today, is if there is ever a time for us to course correct, for us to turn this massive boat around that is food and beverage and hospitality and hotels and cafes and bars and restaurants, if there ever was a time for us to cut the engines, spin that wheel, actually I don't know any nautical things, like, do you cut the engine or do you turn it up more? Whatever it means, whatever we need to do to turn the ship around, let's turn the ship around. Now is the time to do it. This isn't, hopefully, knock on wood, going to happen for us again. So let's use this as much as it is a challenge, let's use it as an opportunity for us to redefine and change from a hospitality mindset to adopting a new mindset in hospitality. And for me, as you'll hear over these next 5 podcasts, one of the keys in the mindset in hospitality has to be the oxygen mask goes on us first, and then everyone else. Because if we can't breathe, no one else is going to do well. Obviously, on an airplane, they're talking about infants and toddlers. Adults can do their own oxygen masks, but you get what I'm saying. We need to look after ourselves first. It's almost like, and hey, I've been guilty of this myself, it's almost like hosting a dinner party at your home with friends and family, and you cook an elaborate meal, and it's multiple courses, and you're, cleaning bathrooms and washing floors, and then prepping food, and oven and stove and fridge and freezer. And it's, the guests arrive, everyone's seated, and you realize 90 minutes into it, or an hour into it, you haven't even had a bite of anything yet. Heck, you haven't even had a glass of water. And how many times have we, as industry workers in hospitality, gone 4-hour shift, a 6-hour shift, an 8-hour shift without drinking any water? Like, that to me is just, it's extremely detrimental to personally. It's extremely detrimental to our ability to perform on the job. And it's also extremely detrimental for, again, us having longevity in this industry. We need to be, the leaders in this industry need to be encouraging people to change their mindset of what hospitality is, looks like, feels like, tastes like, sounds like, all of the above. The hospitality mindset for too long has been, let me take care of you and I'll worry about myself later. I'll elaborate more on this next piece, which I think is really, really important and extremely powerful. And something I'm working on myself as well is, for so long I thought it was strong to be the one to look after others. But now I'm learning the real strength is in asking to be helped by other people. So are you willing to, instead of you listening to others, are you strong enough and willing to ask others to listen to you? That to me is the real strength. That's something I borrowed from my friend Dave Nixon, who has the podcast Mind Prep. Shout out Dave. If you guys don't know Mind Prep, please go check it out. That to me is real strength. And again, this is what I'm talking about. The fundamental shift of switching from a hospitality mindset of let's take care of others, which again, don't get me wrong, we want to still do, but we need to have a new mindset in hospitality. I'm going to elaborate again more as we go through these 5 podcasts, what that actually looks like, how we work on it, how we maintain it, how do we individually facilitate our own mindsets and work on them to become stronger people, stronger leaders, and just and adding more to our industry and to our individual businesses. For me, this is key. It's, again, like I said, none of the examples that I gave, whether it's the oxygen mask to others before you, it's the no water on a shift, it's not eating food when you're hosting a dinner, you forget to because you're so busy looking after other people. None of these things allow for longevity in this industry. So over the next 5 podcasts, you're going to hear me break down the new mindset in hospitality. And this new mindset is one that I feel and believe very strongly is the mindset we all need to adopt across the globe that will allow for us to get through, but also excel in the next months, weeks, years, etc. It is time for a change. The time is now. There has never been a better time. Let's quit making excuses. Let's get to work on changing our mindset of what this industry has to be like, what this industry should be like. Let's be the ones that we decide how and when and where and why. Again, we never forget about making people feel loved, comfortable, taken care of, etc. But it is imperative that we switch the paradigm that has been for so long, one of which we always look after others first. We need to start looking after ourselves and our teammates, our coworkers, the people in our corners. Those are the ones we need to be working on and helping. But first and foremost, we need to be supporting ourselves, taking care of ourselves, and then only then can we help others. I look forward to sharing more of these thoughts, theories, systems, and processes, which I'm a big fan of, over these next podcasts. I hope you guys will stick along and join me in all 5 of these. I'm really proud of it, and it's giving me something that I feel can really add to the industry, as I've been struggling with that for so long. How can I keep adding to the space? How can I add value? And this for me is it. So if you guys found this first podcast beneficial, it would mean the world to me if you would share it with someone else who you think would also find it beneficial. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the podcast. If you're listening right now, just you being here means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much. It really does. It makes my day. And it's the reason why I do this. So thank you so much for supporting me in this podcast. I look forward to seeing you guys next time for the second part of this 5-part series. If you have any questions, please do reach out, Brad at bradbodnarchuk.com. In the meantime, guys, you know what to do. Be good,